Today I'm going to give you three questions from three different American exams, and all of these are related to trigonometry, and they're all going to be very useful for any IIT JEE exams. So let's take a look at the first one. This is probably the easiest one. It's more of a warm-up question. So make sure to pause the video and try it on your own. So we're given sine of A plus sine of B and cosine of A plus cosine of B. They're asking for cosine of A minus B. So the first thing to notice is that cosine of A minus B. So this is just equal to cosine A cosine B minus, and because it's negative, it actually becomes plus over here. So it's plus sine A sine B. Now, we don't really have anything similar to this, but how can we get this? Well, what if we square this? Then we'll get a cosine A cosine B term, right? And if we square this, we'll get a sine A sine B term. So that should be our first step. We should square both of these. So here we get sine A, sine squared A plus sine squared B plus 2 sine A sine B. Sine B. This is equal to root 5 over 3 squared. So this is just 5/3. And similarly, here we have cos squared A plus cos squared B plus, and we're running out of space, so I'll continue over here. 2 cosine A cosine B equals 1. Okay, so let's see, what can we do here? Well, notice that we've got sine squared A and cos squared A, and then sine squared B and cosine squared B. So we can, if we add the equations, we'll get a nice cancellation there, because sine squared A plus cos squared is 1, and so is sine squared B plus cos squared B. So let's do that. Let's add them here. I'll write it a bit smaller here. We get sine squared A plus sine squared B plus 2 sine A sine B plus cos squared A plus cos squared B plus cos plus 2 cos A cos B equals 5/3 plus 1. That becomes 8/3. Now, first thing notice, sine squared A cos squared A cancel, sine squared B cos squared B cancel. That's like 2, right? They add up to 2 in total. So we have to, since we're removing these from here, we're removing the value of 2 from here, we have to do it from here as well. Now we've got 2 sine A sine B plus 2 cosine A cosine B equals 8/3 minus 2 is just 2/3. And remember, we want half of this. We want just cosine A cos B plus sine A sine B. So we multiply it by half, which means our final answer is 1/3. And since it's 1/3, the correct answer here is B. So this was a pretty simple question. All you have to do is square two sides, notice a pattern. That's why you have to square them and then add them up and then simplify. Now we'll go to something a bit harder. This is from the American Invitational Mathematics Examination, AIME. So this is quite a bit harder than the AMC 10. And now let's take a look. So let's go into the question. We're given a long series of, we're given a sum of cosine of 1 degree, 2 degrees, 3 degrees until 44 degrees. And then the same in the denominator, but with signs. So let's see, how can we do this? Well, we need to use sum to product identities, right? And the way we'll do that, we want something that we can work with easily, right? So what if we add these two, add this and cosine of 42, and then same over here, right? It's like kind of a rainbow pattern, but that seems to make the most sense, because then we'll get at least something that's easy to work with. We'll have a constant sum of 45 over 2, right? And that just seems to make the most sense. So let's try it out. So cosine of 1 plus cosine of 44. The general formula for that will be 2 times cosine of 1 plus 44. So 45 over 2. And I'm not going to write the degree sign, but you can just imagine it there. Divided by times cosine of 43 over 2. 44 minus 1 over 2. And so on. And if we do this for all of them, notice that we'll get this plus 2 times cosine of 45 over 2 times cosine of 41 over 2, and then so on until we get 2 cosine 45 over 2 times cosine of just 1 over 2. Okay, and what's in common here? 2 cosine of 45 over 2, right? So let's scroll down and continue with that then. Or actually, let's just zoom out a bit, make some more space here. So we can factor that out. 2 cosine of 45 over 2 times, and now we've just got the sum, cos of 43 over 2 plus cos of 41 over 2 dot 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 plus cos of 1 over 2. So that's our numerator. Now let's go to the denominator. A very similar formula here again. So let's go here. The formula here will be 2 times sine of 45 over 2. And then actually everything else will be the same because it's cosine of a plus b over 2 times sine of a plus b over 2 instead of cosine of a plus b over 2 times cosine of a minus b over 2. So we'll have all these same cosine terms here, here, and here. Not that, this. So all of these will be the same. And the only thing that will change is that instead of cosine of 45 over 2, we have sine of 45 over 2. So we can literally just write this. And now over here, what we'll put in is, it's just going to be the same thing as this. So same the thing as in the numerator. And so, of course, these cancel out. Now we're left with this thing over here. The 2 and 2 cancel out as well. So we're just left with cosine of 45 over 2 divided by sine of 45 over 2. Now that's all we have to do. We can use our double angle, our half angle formula for this. This actually becomes 1 over tan of 45 over 2, right? It's cot of 45 over 2. The formula for this is sine of 45 divided by 1 plus cosine of 45. So this becomes root 2 over 2 divided by divided by what? 1 plus root 2 over 2, right? That's our final answer for this question. And so this was quite a bit harder. You have to know the formulas pretty well to do this. But that's a question from AIME, and this could get asked in IIT JEE soon. So be careful about that. And now the last question is probably the hardest. We have to do this one. We need to express. This is from the Harvard MIT math tournament, first of all. So you've probably heard of Harvard and MIT, two of the best colleges in America. And this is a math tournament that they have. So this is the hardest of the three questions we've looked at. And so let's take a look. It seems it seems pretty similar to the last one, at least in terms of the numerator. We've got a sum of sines that was the same as the denominator in the other one. And these, if you look at it, 10 plus 80 is 90, 20 plus 70 is 90, 30, 60, 40, 50. So they all add up to 90. So maybe that's something we can do. And let's actually go ahead and do that. So the general thing that we'll get is 2 sine of 45. Okay, I'm just going to try to figure out why this is on your own if you have any doubts. But it's going to be 2 sine of 45 times sine of, times cosine. We get cosines because the formula is sine of a plus b over 2 times cosine of a minus b over 2, and then 2 times all that. So here we get 80 minus 10, 70 over 2, so 35, plus, and now here we get 50 over 2, so 25, plus cosine of 15 plus cosine of 5. Okay, this is what we have in the numerator. And in the denominator we have cosine of 5, cosine of 10. These are all degrees again, I'm not writing that though. 2 sine of 45, what does that become? This will just become root 2. Okay, let's hold on to that. Now over here, let's go and see what we can do here, because this does look a bit trickier, but I'm sure there's something to do here. Let's scroll down and make some space. Well, notice that we need 20, 10, and 5, which is, the numbers are pretty far off, but maybe there's some way to get them, right? One thing we can do is, well, notice 35 plus 5 is the same as 25 plus 15, right? So why don't we go ahead and do that? So let's do cosine of 35 plus cosine of 5. Let's group these two together and then group these two together. Cosine of 25 plus cosine of 15. So this will become 2 times cosine of 20 cosine of 15. Okay, that's what this becomes. 15 came from 35 minus 5, 30 over 2. And this becomes 2 cosine of 20 times cosine of 5. So now we've got 2, and remember, all of this is multiplied by root 2. Now, of course, we can take out the 2 cosine of 20, right? So we get 2 root 2. The cosine of 20 will cancel with the cosine of 20 in the denominator. So we're just left with this now. Cosine of 15 plus cosine of 5 over cosine of 5 cosine of 10. Okay, now do you have any ideas for the last step? Well, look at this. 15 plus 5 is 20. 15 minus 5 is 10. Divide both of them by 2, you get 10 and 5. That matches perfectly with the formula. So let's do that here. I'll scroll down yet again. Cosine of 15 and that, so that will become 2 times cosine of 10, cosine of 5, multiplied by 2 root 2, divided by cosine of 5, cosine of 10. Beautiful cancellation here with this. So we're left with 2 root 2 times 2, which is just 4 root 2. This is the final answer. So this was probably, actually I'd say this wasn't the hardest question. I think this one might have been a bit harder, but they're both, you can see these are pretty challenging. So all these questions, just basic. Over here we just have to use basic identities, but here we have to start to remember sum to product formulas. So make sure that you practice these questions, understand how they work, and be ready in case they ever get asked in an Indian exam. And good luck with everything. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.